Hi, software. I am so excited for us to be at this point in the school year because it means we are done with our basics of just how to make pretty things in P5. And now we can start making our projects really interesting and interactive. So to kick that off today, we are covering two really important terms. The first important term for us is pseudocode, which is this guy here. I love this little red thing I can use in Jamboard. And our second is conditionals, and I realize my face is kind of covering it, but sometimes these are called if-else statements. And I'll go ahead and move that post-it note up so it's easier for us to see. Both of these are important. We're going to use both of these today, and we're going to start off with pseudocode. Officially, pseudocode is defined as notation resembling a simplified programming language used in program design. And what we can think of that as is like notes from a program. Computers can't read pseudocode, it's mostly meant for humans, but the structure of how we write those notes is so similar to the code you're using that it would take like no time at all to go from pseudocode to actual code. We're going to be doing that today as we introduce this new concept and we start writing some pseudocode for this new concept of conditionals. Now, conditionals are sometimes called if-else statements, and they check to see if something in your code is true. These true statements are called Boolean statements, and I'm going to put a post-it on the board so we can see that. These are things that are only true or false, sometimes referred to as on, off, or 1, 0. They only have two values. So a Boolean statement only has two values, most commonly thought of as true or false. And a conditional looks at a Boolean statement, it decides is that true, is that false, and if it is, then it makes an action happen in your code. If the condition isn't true, that conditional statement gets skipped. It's like it was never ever written. And sometimes we've coded in something called an else statement, which makes sure that something else happens even if it's not that original if that we intended. So we're going to start looking at this today with just pseudocode and very real-world scenarios. So we are not bringing code into this at all yet. Those of us who feel like a little nervous when it comes to code, we're going to build up to making these cool things in your program. So you guys have a wonderful document for this week, and under your second task, 1.0.0, you have a table of different 1.0.1. You guys have a table of different actions that you're trying to write pseudocode for. This one should look really familiar from action 1, going to the park with your friends. I'm going to do this one with you guys right now, and what I would recommend is that you break out your document and you do this along with me. So go ahead and split your screen, get YouTube on one side, get your document on the other, kind of like a code along, and go ahead and add in what I am saying. And if at any point in this you're like, I don't get why you did that, shoot me a Slack or an email and I will help you out, okay? So what we are trying to do in that first column is we are trying to create a condition that is going to lead to this action, and then we're also thinking of an action that could occur if my condition isn't met. So when I go to the park with my friends, what you guys need to think about is what is the condition that could make that happen? So when I think about that, I think that if it's nice outside, I'm probably going to go to the park with my friends. So I'm going to write if it is sunny out, that's my condition. My condition is that it's sunny out. Then I go to the park with my friends. So again, if it's sunny out is my condition, going to the park with my friends is my action. This whole thing is a conditional statement. Now to add in my else, I would say, else I stay inside and watch Netflix. And what this means is only when it's sunny out, I'm going to the park with friends. If it is any other weather at all, I'm going to stay inside with my Netflix. I'm not going out. It doesn't matter if it's raining or if it's snowing or if it's just really windy. If the weather is bad, I am staying inside. You will not find me at the park. So this would be that first box that you are filling in. Again, my action is here. My condition is here. And then for my else statement, I have a completely different action that happens when my condition is not met. Now that second box, you're asked to take this condition and turn it into something that looks more codey. So to make this more codey, I'm going to write my if in all lowercase. I'm going to put my condition in parentheses. So I'm going to write is sunny out in parentheses. And then I'm using these funny little things called curly braces. Sometimes they're called curly brackets or mustache brackets that you have seen in your code, but you've never really been asked to write. So for those of us unfamiliar with them, they live in the top right corner of your keyboard. They're kind of below the plus equal sign and like up diagonally from your enter or return key. So I'm going to hold shift and I'm going to open a curly brace. Then I'm going to put in my action, which is go to the park with friends. And then I'm going to close my curly brace. And what this does in my code is everything between these two curly braces, which we will see tomorrow, is defined as the action that goes with this condition. And JavaScript loves these curly braces. This is how it keeps track of basically everything happening in the program. Now to write my else, I would do the same thing. I'm putting my else. Here, there's no condition to check because this is just any other condition. So I'm going to open my curly brace and I'm going to stay inside, watch Netflix. And then I'm going to close my curly brace. Now, this looks much more like code. This is what would go in my very last box. But this is, oops, sorry guys, I opened my Spotify. This is not something I would be able to put into my computer and expect it to run. My computer doesn't know what being sunny out means. It doesn't know the command, go to park with friends. But this is a very good structure for us to start getting used to. So for the rest of this table, you guys are going to practice coming up with your own condition for each action and your alternative action, and then you're going to practice putting it into this form, practicing using these parentheses around the condition and these curly braces to surround your action. If you have questions, shoot me a Slack or an email or come to support hours. I am more than happy to help you. Talk soon, guys.